welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wellness.
Happy holidays from Don Gatling and Gino Fronte with this week's edition of the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show every Saturday, 9 a.m. till 10 a.m., where we get to share with you what you need to know, want to know, should know about real estate, finance, your community, and so much more, with our goal of what, Gino?
Guiding you to personal and financial wellness. We've been doing that for nearly 8 years, and where you can see our catalog of shows by going to donandgino.com, go to the YouTube channel, and then you'll find, not only will you find all the shows that we've done over the last almost 8 years, you'll also find the National Real Estate Cafe, which is our daily video blog that keeps you in the know of exactly what's going on daily so that we can disseminate the media.
Yeah, because the media loves bad news.
Yeah.
They love to scare the you-know-what out of you. I can't say that.
That's their job. Yeah.
Last time I said the wrong word, we got our hand slapped. Yep.
Yeah.
So, but they do love to scare you so that basically you'll listen. But we will pull real reports about what's really happening. We watch trends, because there could be one bad report. For example, unemployment numbers could change, or the jobs report can change, and they'll say, "Oh, the sky is falling. We told you it's coming," and then we find out, "Oh, wait a minute, there was fires and hurricanes and good reasons why there is an adjustment." And then we always tell you, wait till next month. I guarantee the rebound will be huge. And sure enough, the rebound comes. So we look really brilliant just because we actually watch what's really happening in the markets.
Yeah,
so the National Real Estate Cafe, you can find out more at nrecafe.com.
That's it. All right, well, with no further ado, let's have our guest on. We always have the best guests in the nation to make sure that we go over all the subjects that you may wonder or talk about at work or talk to your friends about. And today's no different. We're going to have a great guest with us, and we're going to talk a little bit more macro today. We're not going to talk about little stuff. We're going to talk about things that we don't talk about too much on the show, but we'll talk about the why behind some of the mortgage
what's
world.
really cool, Gino, about our guest is actually he was one of our trainers. We have to get continuing education every year, which is nice. Back in the day when the market, the big meltdown, the mortgage meltdown, there was no such thing as really getting licensing, and anybody could be a lender, and anybody could do whatever they wanted.
The wild west.
That was part of the problem. Now we actually have to, be compliant, and we have to get our license, state and federal, and we basically then also have to get continue education every single year. And our trainer happened to be Richard Murphy, who showed up, and he has just not just training and education, but also education about what's really happening in the markets, his opinions on what's happening in the markets. Is there another mortgage meltdown coming? Is there a great recession coming on? Is it going to be twice as bad as it was before? And they talk about that, or 3 times as bad they're talking about. So Richard had some great insight, and we loved his opinions. We go, Richard, you need to come on our show and share those opinions with our listeners and also our subscribers. And Richard, thank you for joining us.
It is my pleasure, Don and Gino. It was great meeting you guys, and I'm excited about being here today.
You have a great radio voice, by the way.
And a face for radio, too, I think.
We have the face for radio. That's why we have radio. but you
Awesome.
are coming to us live through Zoom. We love Zoom. And Richard's live with us basically in the studio. Basically, you can actually join us in the studio by going to donandgino.com, click on the live streaming button, and we'll allow you to join our custom-built studio right here at Finance of America now, where we're Skyline Home Loans. Now we're Finance of America in the Sun Kiss building right by Magic Mountain. And Richard Murphy, who is a author, speaker, mortgage consultant, trainer, all those good things, is here to share some great opinions on, we can just start off because right now there's fear and talk about the next great recession or the potential of a recession. And why don't we start with what caused the original recession basically in 2007, and then we'll lead into what's leading us to, where we're heading in the future. Let's put it that way based on your opinion, what you're seeing. Sound
Sure. Okay. Sounds great. We'd have to go back to the early 90s, actually, and without making this a political debate, that is not my goal. The fact is that, as you guys remember, you've been in the business a long time as well. Back in the day, the infamous they said that buyers had to have 20% down and a 720 FICO score. That baloney is still being propagated today, unfortunately, by certain media outlets. And it's not true. FHA's been around for a long time. Yeah. And in the early 90s, certain politicians came up with really cool loan programs that we all enjoyed using, like stated income and interest only and the 1% pick-a-pay and all of these things that were misused most of the time.
And
because of those
misunderstood.
loan
And misunderstood,
Absolutely.
of course.
Right. I did use the 1% pick-a-pay with the affluent borrowers who live up in Rancho Palos Verdes.
That understood how to utilize it and leverage their money.
Yeah, or it's perfect
Exactly.
for
But
an
Bob
investor.
and Betty borrower who were buying their first home in Gardena had no business being in that loan. I'm helping somebody presently right now get out of that loan because it adjusts monthly, and they never had any idea how the loan program worked. So they thought they were good for 10 years, and then it started going wacky month to month. Somebody said you should talk to this guy named Murphy, and so now I'm in the process of helping them get out of that nasty loan. So that's what happened. Those really great creative loan programs, stated income, you guys know, if you had a pulse or fogged up a mirror, you got a loan, 100% financing. It was wacky. It was the wild, wild west, and that's what got us into that pickle, along with the unmitigated greed on Wall Street.
Yeah, I think
that's a good word.
Yeah,
Agreed,
no, but I want to
because
touch
that's
on
really
that.
what happened.
I want to touch on that too, because ultimately there was a tremendous amount of fraud. There really was. Because those products were no verification products, the industry was rampant with fraud. I mean, we saw it. I saw it all over. And, I wondered, how are these guys driving? I'm in the same business as these guys. They're driving Ferraris, and I'm driving a Toyota Tacoma. What's the deal?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm still in the business. They're not.
Well, and the thing is you and I both know, we've been in the business a long time. You can go and do the qualifications and tell your client, hey, you qualify for, which is for round numbers, $550,000. You're like, well, that's not the home I want. I want the $750,000 home. And you're like, well, you don't qualify for the $750. Why don't you buy the $550? This is how you build wealth, and then you get the $650 and $750. That's how it works. You don't just jump into your dream home immediately. Well, the guy down the street says I can, because I can just state any income I want. So the problem is that people were buying homes that they realistically did not qualify for. And they always were betting on the come, basically saying, hey, it'll go up in value, we'll just refinance it. And that
or I've gotten a raise every year, I'm going to get one this year too. And then when the economy
Famous
turned,
last words.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I talk about all the time is I say, look, it didn't matter what loan program you're in if you lost your job. Okay, actually, at the end of the day, the NAGAM was probably the best loan on the planet because it had the smallest payment. But the problem that we had is we had no employment. So it really was the recession, the lack of employment, not so much the loan products, if you ask me.
I agree. In fact, that's the number one reason why people default on their mortgages to this day. People become unemployed, kind of hard to pay bills, and so people will pay the smaller bills, cell phone, car payment, but the $2,000 nut on the house, well, we'll just roll the dice on that.
Yeah, it's either losing your job or medical.
Yeah.
I mean, it still happens today. There's always usually between, 3 and 4%, foreclosure rate nationally just because of those reasons.
Yeah, those are things that are outside of people's control. People have accidents, people get sick, etc.
So we kind of touched on what kind of led us into it, and then also the greed, in Wall Street, everybody wanting to get in, when the getting was good and make money, and there's a lot of fraud even in Wall Street with nobody knows
the rating agencies.
The rating agencies and things called tranches, meaning just, so you out there understand what happened. You'd have somebody that basically said the top 20% of these loans are AAA. And you go, great. And then someone who's purchasing them says, I have AAA. That means I'm pretty much going to get paid back. The problem is they take the other 80%, repackage it, and take the top 20% of that 80% and say, hey, this is AAA. And then they take the 60% that's left and repackage it and say, hey, this is AAA. Somewhere down the road, someone's not getting AAA paper that they're paying for. And down the road, they found out that they were not getting what they paid for, and it increased. Incredible
Basically
risk.
the largest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Exactly.
I mean, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it goes. What's it?
It's investment, speculation, Ponzi. That's what happens. That's the nature of humanity, and what greed does is you start with an investment. You want to make a little return on your investment. Then you start to speculate on what you think is going to happen, and then you just end up in Ponzi, and just the whole thing's crazy.
Right.
All right, Richard, so we're going to go to break here. So we kind of we started off with just, let's get our base of what caused the recession in general, big mortgage meltdown. And now when we come back, let's let everybody know where we're at today in your opinion, where we're going. Are we heading into another huge correction? Is the mortgage insurance fund actually broke? And where the future of the business, where the future is for business and the mortgage industry and the housing industry, because we still think the housing industry is still strong, and we'd love to get your opinion when we come back. Is that all right?
Perfect. Sounds great, guys.
All right. We'll be right back. Great information with Richard Murphy, again, author, speaker, national trainer, letting you in the inside track of what's really happening in the real estate and financial world. When we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show.